wasted our, technical champion. She just wasn't able to participate in this tournament today. Here we are. Extended series. Well, that's not accurate. Extended series used to mean something very, very different. Point is, it's not a best of 3, it's a best of 5. In the top left, as the orange Zerg, it is Visca. In the bottom right, as the blue Zerg, it is QB. I am very surprised that my chat message privacy is off. This is my caster account, of which I usually always have it. That's really weird. It's not like I don't cast European things, so... I don't know, maybe an update... killed it for me? I don't know. Should be fixed now, though. So... Did I do this? The bottom right is QB? This is Blue Zerg? I did it now. She's gonna go for another pool and a gas before her hatchery, so... Maybe not just a very good measure of defense against Ossit, but also just something she likes to pressure with. I think a big difference is that she's not going to get Spinecrawler and play defensive, but rather use this offensively. So Vriska is going to be tested pretty early on. She is going for the normal macro opener here, and that is going to be quite the test. I would not be surprised if QB always tests Vriska's Ling Bailing micro. Actually, I want to check how they've both performed in previous tournaments. This is the second time Vriska's been able to play. It's usually admins, and then I know QB's placed before. Yeah, QB lost. She's been in the finals. This is her third time in the finals, I believe, because she lost to Telia 3-2 in number 2, and then in number 1 she lost to Telia 3-0. So she's one of the contenders for the title, even if Telia is here. I just want to make sure I wasn't confusing with Kylo. I think it's a Terran player. So I feel like QB is going to take this 3-0, even though I'm trying to give Vriska some credit about her performance in ZVZ. It's tough. There's a lot of, like, Zerg being reaction-based, right? It's to the nth degree in ZVZ, and you're really not just defending against what you're seeing, you're also trying to drone against what you're not seeing and what you're kind of guessing and figuring out based off of what you're not seeing. So it's difficult to do. Sometimes you just die to really stupid stuff, especially when you're first learning Zerg and it feels really dumb. And I think Vriska has a good understanding of the matchup in general. The actual mechanics of it might just be where she falls behind. I have to update the title, so do that too. I should probably even go for a tweet. Do the thing. The fast speed is not really shown itself. I mean, it was actually that fast of speed. It's the same time as Vriska. But yeah, she really didn't use her earlier pool to a huge advantage. Oh, you know what? The Banshees did it for me, so I'm just gonna retweet that. Whoever's in charge of that Twitter is doing good work. Third base goes down. Vriska is going to go for the Roach Warren Evolutionary Wall Off, which makes a lot of sense on Fracture, but it's not. Oh, that's not a Roach Warren. Sorry, I just assumed it is a Bailing Nest. She's making a lot of lings. She's getting a third base. Is she going to use this offensively? QB does not have her own Bailing Nest. There it is. All right, +1 melee. We're going to stick on lings for a little while longer for Vriska. Is QB going to be able to read into this? She does not see the lings until just now with this Overlord, so her third base is going to be under a lot of pressure. Tries to desperately... it's not even hers. They're her Banelings. This is Vriska's, but only one for Vriska. Still going to get her the cancel, but probably isn't much more to be done. Cancel over here, though, too, as they both just circumvent each other's army. One Baneling does not kill the Banelings of your opponents. Kind of micro along here. Vriska with her wall is feeling a little bit safer, maybe. Even though she didn't have any defensive Banelings, and that is actually... that could have been an open opportunity for QB. She's finally going to find it. It's going to take a pretty okay engagement as they awkwardly run into each other's walls. Gonna take out the drone. That's gonna go to the third base. Gonna take out the Lings. Just barely in time to try and move in. She actually does not. She moves out as Vriska's Lings return home. QB, at the end of the day, does get a faster hatchery. Starting to fall behind on the tech, though. That +1 melee has been chugging along for some time. A little bit hard to tell for QB if that's +1 melee or it's a Roach or a Roachborn is somewhere or is about to be built, and that's actually a missile. But soon enough, she'll figure it out. She'll be able to click on the Lings, if nothing else. Drone is once again sniped. QB extending the lead here. Ban's coming from behind are going to actually get amazing hits. And QB can now trade out 2 for 2 if she really wanted to. Maybe she's going to try and mic her again, so that's exactly what she's going to try and do. She's going for the throat now as more Lings are going to go on across the map. She's droning a little bit behind as the 2 drones enter the drone line. Banelings, I'm losing my words here. It's getting worse as time goes on. Doesn't actually kill all the drones. Queen is barely going to go down, but more Lings. Those Lings are reinforcing are actually going to do so much work here. As the drones, they might not be dead. They are very, very weak. +1 melee finally finishes for Vriska, giving her Lings in a pure Ling to Ling fight an absolute advantage, but it doesn't help against the Banelings, unlike Carapace. And unfortunately, I think Vriska has been overpowered by sheer larva. You know, the 2 bad Baneling hits are definitely contributing to this loss, but she also is going to run out of larva. As her third base was just getting later and later and later and later. The Spire's never going to come into the light of day. GG. QB takes game number 1. Not totally unexpected. Vriska held her own for a little while there. And is outpowered. Damn it. If someone knows Osset, can you explain? She might be in a Discord. Cerulean Falls is gonna be the next map. I guess I can try and search Andromeda. I can do 2 things at once. I'm amazing like that. Ah, excuse my typing. Both players are ready. Ready and excited. That's always nice to see. No salt here. There is a Matcherino that you guys can go look at, see all the information that you want. Rules, bracket, stream, who's donated. You just type !Matcherino, that'll give you all the information you need. But just in case you don't want to bother, the prize has actually been maxed out for this one, thanks to both Nibalizer and Lone Wolf adding a little bit more. So, I do believe, if I do the math correctly, first place is going to get $153.60. I know, it's percentage-based, guys, so it's a little weird. Second place gets $57.60, and then third and fourth get $14.40 each. And then Vriska already got $20 for being an admin, because she's really cool. So, it's a pretty nice chunk of change when it's maxed out, really. The goal of the tournament, you know, maybe some people, as we watch normal openers here, just checking. Some people are like, why do you put all the rest of the money into future tournaments? Like, why not just make a huge couple tournaments? And, I mean, the answer is, this really isn't about giving a ton of money to the best player, first or second player. It's about just continuing to promote an atmosphere of competition for women, that they can actually feel like they can be open and proud about being women, and feel like they're they even have like a chance. And there's a lot of different reasons why I want to support the tournament as is for a continued amount of time, as opposed to just making this like a once-off thing or something that I eventually can no longer support by myself. As that's what originally was the plan, is that I just put $75 into every other weekend. But don't have to do that. I can actually ensure that this is a continued, you know, group. It's a continued tournament. More people hear about it, more people join. People get better and better results. They get really motivated. They become pro, and then you can thank me, and then I'll take all the credit. That's what I want to have happen. So that's why all of the money doesn't go into a single tournament. Anyways, game number 2 in the top right, going for what was it? It was actually a normal macro opener. It was. It is Vriska. In the bottom left, QB. Going for, I think it was the same opener as last game. Had tree a little bit later. She got the lings ready. Speed isn't too far ahead, just because one of the things Vriska's build does give her is some well-timed speed. But she does have lings a lot faster and a single queen faster. Obviously get 2 queens at once when you do what Vriska does. But QB didn't really do a lot with these lings last game. It does ensure that she's not going to take any silly losses in case Vriska does decide to try and throw in 13-12 or something like that. And maybe one of these days she is going to use this, one of these matches, I guess. She's going to use this offensively. With 4 lings, I wouldn't really call this offensive. Even with 6 lings, I don't really call it offensive. I mean, if you're hoping for anything with 6 lings, you're hoping that your opponent makes absolutely no lings, which some Zergs do. They get a little bit greedy. And you get the snipe on the queen. Or a couple drones. But this should not get the Overlord. Unfortunately, with Vriska's Overlord tagging it, there's no chance that her Overlord uses high ground vision, but she's going to go over a couple pillars, so that's safety. Baneling Nest for both players on the way. Once again, +1 melee, but a lot faster than last game. So this will actually play some effect in the Ling Wars. Again, they don't affect the Banelings, and that should still be what it really comes down to, but, you know, sometimes it comes down to 10 lings, just 10 lings, and 10 lings with +1 and absolutely going to win that one. I can give her contacts. I found her on Discord, thank you. Thank you for trying to help. 4 Banelings come in. QB's been very good about using her Banelings for the right occasion, and that is using them on the lings more so than going for like the spine crawler or for the queen. Those are calls you really have to make with 100% certainty that they're going to help you. Otherwise, you just want to make sure that they never have any army. If they don't have any army, the Banelings have to explode. They just, you know, the lings will kill everything else. Or they'll go for the drone line, which is looking mighty juicy right now. First one doesn't get the best hit, and the last second split does save Vriska, but she doesn't split her lings, and unfortunately a lot of these drones are weak and just simply not mining. So Vriska already taking a lot of damage. 16 more lings are on the way while QB goes for a third base behind this. Vriska's third base is also going to finish up, but at what cost type deal? It could be killed right after all the drones are killed. Unfortunately, Vriska is going to fall behind, and once again, +1 melee is not going to be helpful in this game. Alright, let's use her practice time, but I kind of see Scarlet play some weekend and just wreck everyone. I mean, that's obviously what would happen. She would wreck everyone, but... well, she might know about it. I didn't actually ask her at Montreal. GG is called. QB takes a 2-0 lead. I didn't get to ask her or talk to her about it in Montreal. Just, there's not really a reason to, but... even if she did know about it, I feel like she just wouldn't have much motivation to play in it. And she might not even want to. Just because, you know, it isn't a great use of practice time, and also she might be on board the idea of supporting other women. But I don't know. Didn't talk to her about it. So last map choice from Vriska. Even if it's not a 3-0, even if Vriska brings it back, it's still her last map choice, loser's pick. Lost and Found is going to be it. I think Scarlet participating even once would be exciting. Well, especially if you tweeted about it. It would certainly put a lot of eyes on the tournament. Cool, Andromeda has used Matcherino. Ah, makes it so much easier. Alright. Could be the last game coming up here on Lost and Found. As QB is looking very strong with her Ling attacks. And, oh, what's also nice is that QB has already been put into Matcherino, so I know she has it. Getting excited about adminning stuff. Nice. Alright. Still a best of 5, but it could be the last game. In the bottom left, down to 0. It is Vriska. In the top right, as the blue Zerg, she is QB. It'll be fun to get to play versus her. Yeah, that's definitely true. A lot of the reason some people were playing in the Alima League, especially for the first, like, 2 years of it. Now it's kind of all pros, but the first 2 years of it, there was a lot of Team Liquid guys that were playing in the Alima League, and it was the only chance you really got to play against some of your favorite Koreans. Nowadays, I think a lot of pros play in a lot of different tournaments, so even if, like, you're European and you want to play in a Go for StarCraft that has no money, you're still going to face a couple of pro gamers. But... and this being women only, obviously it's another hurdle to jump through, so. It would be kind of cool to play against her. I've never played against her in StarCraft 2, but I did play against her in Brood War, and she was a little shit, so. Never again. She played Protoss instead of Zerg, and then she DT rushed me and carrier rushed me. So, you know, never again. Actually have the same build opener for both players this time. QB not going to start off with those 6 lings. They haven't really done much for her. And actually, oh, I said same build order, but I was wrong. There is no gas for QB. She does add 1/1. It's like that in between time, right? So you either get it like right off the bat, so you kind of pair up your 100 gas with your pool. Or you wait a very long time and you get double gas and then you go into like roaches. This is like in between those times. So I guess it's still gonna go into speed, but she's gonna have, well, what I think would be well, she certainly has a mineral advantage. She doesn't actually have a drone advantage because she made lings and Vriska only made 1 set. And these players have a huge MMR difference. Yes, they do. Speed's on the way. Baneliness is very, very quick. Wait, that hatchery was a lot later than I thought it was. Maybe Vriska was expecting QB to go for a earlier pool finally. The hatchery is finally done. Speed's on the way. Banley Nest and a lot of Ling. She's gonna go for a good old-fashioned 2-base Ling all-in. That Overlord could die, but it still sees a nice number of Lings. Sees 2 more, and it won't see the rest, because there's actually not any more on the way. So she's not going to go for a Ling Baneling all-in. With how many she was making, how fast her Baneliness was, I was almost sure that was her plan, and it wouldn't have been a bad plan. But it goes back into droning, and gets minimal advantages. She takes out Lings really easily, but there's 3 queens and more Lings for QB. Takes up Lings once again. And, I mean, this would be so exciting if Vriska had 3 Banelings running in and 20 more Lings on the way, but as it is, it's really not that exciting. All Vriska did was just cut what could have been either a substantial drone lead or a substantial all-in into, you know, now she's the one having to make Lings to defend because she just used them all. QB is a comfortable drone count of 20 or 30, actually, with 3 more on the way, and now she can do her own bit of pressure. So I don't think anything's really working out as Vriska was hoping for. Once again, going to try and go into that +1 melee, but not helpful for this Ling attack. Going to have a lot of Baneling defense. I don't think she's going to be pushed, even though QB has her own very nice set of Banelings. That's going to be 8 Banelings. Well, let's see how the Banelings actually pop off on each other. Vriska does kind of split them up a little bit, but QB is going to be doing the same exact thing. You see that she's coming in kind of 2 at a time. Run to the queens initially. Maybe 2 could have gotten these 4. But the 3 banelings walk into the natural drone. There's actually not a lot of drones to kill. And they all pop off on a couple lings and a couple drones. So not the best there. But this baneling actually makes it into the main, and that was huge. If QB had any more lings, and she does have some taking on the queens, all those drones are dead. But 4 more banelings from Vriska are going to send those lings packing back home. And these drones, an inch from death, end up living. But in total, that's 6 drones down after already being down in drones. A total of 15 drones down. Trying to go into that double upgraded style with lings, but not with a super powerful economy to back it up. No attempt at third base yet for either player. As QB goes into a Roach-Warren Evolution Chamber, she'll eventually get hers. She's also getting enough lings to kind of still pressure Vriska if she finds an opportunity. Lair on the way for both players, so Vriska might just be trying to go into Muta, something she's really not been able to get to before she's dead. And with those 2 banelings trading off the other 2, at least Vriska with no lings. And QB with all the lings. So another queen goes down. Larva's going to be a huge problem. These drones still not fully healed back to full. It's not going to end the game as Vriska's lings finally come back home, but every single time, Vriska's falling a little bit behind. And since she just made a round of drones, she has nothing to take care of these lings. Little by little, QB is taking advantages, and finally it all snowballs so that she has 10, 16, 20 lings to Vriska's none. And while Vriska finally has her 1-1 and finally has a lair to maybe start that Spire, she's not going to have an economy to back it up. Well, this is a very, very slow death. Probably one of the slowest deaths I've ever seen. I mean, with the Ling upgrades, Vriska is going to start taking these engagements, no problem. But now we're on the bigger issues, like the roaches. QB should also figure out that it is an attempted Spire play, even without seeing the Spire. I mean, Vriska canceled it because it was scouted, but she really didn't have to. And it... I mean, kind of being tricky. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it's kind of being tricky. It doesn't really matter, in my opinion, as I think that even though QB sees a Spire and then sees it canceled, I think she assumes it's the Spire. But in attempts to either keep up appearances or transition after only making 8 or 9, the Roach-Warren is being put down to the front line. Vriska being stuck at 24 drones this entire game. So it's tried to go above that, but just kept getting hit down basically the same drone count. QB very comfortable on 3 bases, 47 drones, her own +1 upgrade at least on the Roaches coming through with the Roach speed. She's definitely going to be able to attack before the Spire is done, before the Mutas are out, at least. And, that's only going to be like 1 Muta. Vriska is, well, in a lot of trouble. This is not even that sturdy of a wall because the Evolution Chamber is kind of broken already. Spire's not done. Just enough cash for 1 Muta and Shadowmane Overlord. GG. QB does take the 3-0 and will place first in this tournament. She didn't take down Telia, which may be her ultimate goal after being 3-0'd by her and then just barely being 3-2'd by her. I think that's the grudge match she really wanted to have, but still taking the championship here over Vriska.